So, if you're an injured runner and you end up on one of these treatment couches, something's gone wrong. You're not a happy bunny. So by the end of today's video, there's a chance I'll have helped you to figure out how to avoid getting on one of these again by making sure you're not stuck in first gear. So welcome to my clinic, McBride Physio and Performance. My name's Ian and this is my channel, Beyond the Treatment Couch. Oh, and if you clicked on the video due to the thumbnail, then I think we're going to be great mates. I think you're the bee's knees. So before I go through and show you how to identify if you're stuck in first gear and the implications of that, first off we just need to talk about ground reaction force, because ground reaction force, GRF, this is fundamental to running injuries. So as runners we get injured because tissues fail. So in the absence of trauma, falling over, rolling your ankle, twisting your knee, an injury that comes on for no apparent reason, that there will always be a reason, those tissues have failed. And they've failed because our bodies are exposed to huge loads each and every time we strike the ground whilst running. Now, figures differ, but it's approximately 3 times body weight. So for me, it's 100 kilograms at present. That's 300 kilograms each and every step taken whilst we run. So this is why we get injured running, because in essence it's a balance in managing all of that load. So an hour's run for me, I've loaded my body approximately 2.5 kilograms. So ground reaction force, what is that? So that's the force we hit the ground when we run. So when we run, both feet are off the ground for a period of time, what's called the flight phase, and then a foot strikes the ground. We absorb and store energy, and then we push off and release that energy. So the ground reaction force is essential, so we need to generate enough force to then use it to push off and propel ourselves forward. However, you can have too much of a good thing. So one way I like to think of it is when we used to have clinics and employ people, I would choose which wall for that particular day I wanted to bang my head against. So obviously, once I've chosen the wall I wanted to bang my head against, the greater the speed my forehead impacts the wall in order to deal with that day's particular stresses, the greater the return that's going into my forehead. So therefore, managing how much impact, how much speed we hit the ground with is imperative in managing the tissues and keeping them happy. So I first made this discovery years ago, probably going back to 2008, 2009. So I'd get injured runners on the treadmill. I'd tell them to take it up to a comparable speed for their typical efforts running outdoors. And I started to see a feature. And then fast forward years later, probably about 2 years ago, I was going through my studies for my running coach certification through UESCA. That's the United Endurance Sports Coaching Academy. Absolutely brilliant. The content, scientific content, superb. And I saw this piece of research. That's what I saw years ago with a certain group of injured runners. So this study by Keller et al. Found that slow jogging increased vertical ground reaction force by 50%. So let's apply that to me. I'm 100 kilos, approximately 3 times body weight per stride, 300 kilos. That's not enough. Let's add an extra 150 kilos. I don't need an extra 150 kilos added to 300. It's ridiculous, it's too much. The tissues will fail. So, going back to my discovery, which I can't take any credit for, I'm sure plenty of other physios were picking up on it as well, the slow jogging. What I used to get my patients to do, I would then, once I've twigged Like, there's something going on here. It's like, can you walk at your running speed? The vast majority of them would then walk. So I then explained, you're running at a walking pace. And I didn't, at that point, I wasn't aware of this research, but I knew that running at a walking pace, your running gait is compromised. So I then said, right, walk for as long as you can. As long as you can. I'm increasing there. So I had to run at 9.5 kilometers per hour. I cannot walk it. I'm now running. So getting back to the point of this video, if you're a new runner, if you're a deconditioned runner, like me, returning from injury, illness, long COVID in my case, if you're a social runner, if all of your running is at a slow jog, unbeknownst to you, you're increasing your ground reaction force by 50%. So let's go back to me, just for ease of numbers. If an hour's run is 2 million kilograms, it's going to be 3 million kilograms for me if I'm running at a slow jog, at a fast walking pace. So, the take-home message is, if you identify as a jogger, challenge yourself, see if you can actually walk at your jogging pace. If you can, you're doing yourself no favours whatsoever. You're then having to handle an extra 50% of ground reaction force. You're hitting your head against the wall even harder. And you don't need to, because running's hard enough as it is. You don't need an extra 50% of load. So a treadmill is great for this, so just do what I did there. Increase the speed until you have to run. And that's going to be a great interval session. So you could have a 30 seconds, a minute at your new proper running speed, then bring it back down to a walk for a couple of minutes. Recover, get your breath back and go again. So you need to get out of first gear and start going into second and third, and then who knows where that's going to take you. So thank you for watching. I hope you found that video useful. Let me know how you get on if you're suspecting that you're stuck in first gear. So leave me a comment. And this is my first video. I've got 20 years of experience that I'm really excited to start sharing with people, all things physio, strength, endurance related. So if you could do me a really big favour, if you could subscribe, then it's going to give me the confidence that the content I'm producing is helping people. So all that's left now is to say thank you, give me a subscribe, give me a like, all that jazz, and I'm just going to finish off with a cool down. Oh yeah, this is nice. This is different. This is the beef, these.